I was going to be when I grew up, because I ended up loving almost everything that I took. So when I first started as an undergrad, I had ancient Greek and Latin and philosophy, but I wanted math and chemistry, and so I actually had a struggle, so I kind of blended the two of them. Eventually I thought biology was great because one of my questions was, how does life begin? How do you go from just chemistry to living chemistry? So that was one of the things that, and I loved organisms, so I wanted it to be reductionist chemicals, but I wanted it to be as part of language. I did double major, so I basically did classics, ancient Greek and Latin, and biology. In high school, we didn't have the greatest science program, I have to say. So that's not where I got my love of science. I got my love of science because I read about evolution on my own. And because I read about evolution, I thought, wow, how did this all happen, and what happened? It was just very fascinating to me. It's not that we didn't get taught evolution, but it wasn't a big deal for some reason. So in high school, I actually loved languages. So that for me, high school was language, and I actually thought for a while that I was going to be an interpreter at the UN. That was my first career goal, to be an interpreter of multiple languages at the UN as a diplomat. So I'm a mixed bag. Yeah, so that's where it all began. I went to SUNY Binghamton, State University of New York in Binghamton for part of my college, and I went to City University of New York City for part of my college. And when I was a freshman, I got into a special program in the humanities. So I started in philosophy. We read Plato and Aristotle. We read the literature of the Bible as literature. We got introduced to Western poetry, music. It was a humanities program, and then political science like Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, all those great writers, Freud, Marx, Engels. But in that humanities program, they emphasized the importance of science and the influence of science on philosophy. So then I thought, I really have to know what science is too in order to see how this all fits in. So that's when I started taking science courses along with the philosophy. And one of the first science courses that I loved was genetics and cell biology, and then zoology. And especially genetics and cell biology, that was really fascinating. I studied the influence of particular genes on the development from a fertilized egg to an adult zebrafish. So zebrafish is a fish, and it's a vertebrate. So very much like us, except it doesn't develop in a uterus, it develops outside, so you can actually watch development right there happening. It's also translucent, so you can see through it, and you can see organs and heartbeats and all that just with the dissecting scope. And we've sequenced the whole genome. We have libraries of genes cloned from zebrafish. We can knock out a gene or overexpress it at our discretion as an investigator and see what happens to the fish. So I'm studying this particular gene that is like a key gene whose role is to turn on and off a bunch of other genes. So it's like one of these things on the top of a pyramid, and then it controls all these other genes in development. So if I tweak this gene at the top, I get a lot of different effects downstream, we call it, of that. And then I can look to see, okay, if I tweak it so that I turn it down, what happens in development? If I tweak it and I make it get expressed too much, what happens in development? And I ask just visually what happens, like do you get like a mushy brain, but then we look inside the molecules of the fish and we see that, for instance, cell death is increased. So cell death is a normal occurrence at some level, but the levels of cell death are really high in the fish where you tweak the gene. So things like that. So I'm trying to figure out this gene's connected to that gene, connected to that gene, that makes this happen in development. As a biologist, yeah, you can do a bunch of things. So research can be done, first let me stick to research, because research in a university is very different from research at a pharmaceutical company, for instance. So research research in a university is always tied in with teaching, it's tied in with finding new things just for the heck of it, and they don't really have to be that applicable to medicine. But if you work as a researcher in pharmaceutical companies, it's much more practical, and some people like that. They like to see that they're doing this and then something is coming out of it. So you would research, drug testing and drug targets and things like that, and you would see more of an immediate reward, perhaps, that way. So there's research, and then depending on the kind of biology you're in, so if you're an environmental biologist, for instance, you work for the government, for the EPA, for things like that. If you are a molecular biologist like I am, besides a pharmaceutical company, they still hire molecular biologists to test water, to test environmental toxins and things like that. So you can work for the government, you can work for museums and places like that. You can work for national parks. Again, if you're a biologist that's looking at organisms and interactions in ecosystems, then there's all kinds of jobs you can do that way. So, and also it's very good to have a biology degree with another degree. So law in biology, or communication in biology, writing in biology, so you could be sort of a journalist, or you could be a person who interviews biologists and knows a little bit about the science, so you can write better about it for the general public. One thing that's really fun when you're a scientist and you're an academic scientist is that you go to these national meetings and you present your work to other scientists coming from all over the world sometimes, or all over the country at least. And there's students there, there's graduate students, undergrads go sometimes, it's less undergrads, but mostly graduate students and faculty, other faculty, and you share data and you share what you found even before you publish it. And often you get so many great ideas, and there's a lot of social element to it too. So you have dinners together, you go sightseeing together. So and I like to bring my students to those meetings because it shows them that the scientists are a community. It's a community of scientists, not just you by yourself in your lab, but you're really part of a bigger effort, and people that are like-minded and trying to find how things work and stuff. So going to meetings and sharing that social aspect of science is really fun. It's the most fun is I have in my own lab teaching my own students how to do research, because that, to me, to take an undergraduate who's just excited about science but doesn't really know yet what it really entails, and then having them and seeing them blossom and then beginning to think on their own and design their own experiments eventually. So I think that's the most fun. I mean, classroom teaching is fun. It can be very fun, but to me, teaching in a lab and developing an undergraduate especially into a scientific thinking person, I think that's really fun. Well, first of all, I think young boys and young girls, I mean, both of them should be scientists and biologists, but I think girls in particular, and I think this is probably still true, you probably know the answer to this better than I, because I haven't been a girl in a long time. I'm like sort of an older woman right now. But I think that it's still the case that girls don't see themselves as mathematicians and scientists as often as boys do. Now that is definitely changing. It's definitely different from when I grew up. To me, when I grew up, I was unusual in that I wanted to do math and science, and and in second grade I wanted to do math and science. But I feel that any field, and that includes science and other fields, but because science has still sort of heavy on the male orientation there, I think you get different perspectives when you bring both women and men in on something. They tend to have, and there's exceptions obviously to all these rules, but they tend to have different ways of thinking, they tend to have different ways of synthesizing things, and to have both males and females equally represented in any field is pretty important, whether it's politics or whether it's engineering or whether it's science, because their ways of looking at things and their ways of paying attention are different, and they're complementary often, although there's a big part that they're very much the same. So I feel that it's unfortunate, and I think it's just a matter of perception, self-perception, and also having more and more role models. Once you have more and more role models already in the field, that's just going to make more and more people. And I think I've seen a huge increase from when I was a kid.
Sure.
Definitely a huge increase. There are many, many more women. And the thing is, biology, there's a lot of women in biology. It's harder, you see less women in chemistry, in physics, and engineering than you do in biology. So again, I guess the more math-oriented it is, the more there is a self-perception. It's not a true perception, but it's a self-perception that, maybe that's not for me. Don't think of yourself as a girl or a boy. Think of yourself as a human being who is really curious about how things work. And one of the best things you can do is to be friendly with your teachers, be open with your teachers, talk to your teachers, express interest outside of the classroom to your teachers, and you will find mentors everywhere to do that. You have to reach out to people who are doing it and ask to help. I think that's one of the best things. Learning it by actually doing it, especially when it comes to science, is so different from learning it from the textbook. So I would say be open about your interest, be excited about it, express it, offer your help. That would be something you would do, I think, and that would get the teacher very excited. You would see a very excited response to that, I think. And also try to make friends that have same interests sometimes. Not have a lot of friends, but at least have a core that